So, what happens when we're gone? What happens if Ken and I die at the same time? What will happen with the girls? What will happen if just one of us dies? What kind of plan do we have in place? Is it safe? We spend so much time worrying about the girls' day-to-day life and who their caregiver is right now, and I spend hours on the phone and doing paperwork for the waivers that they're on, and what happens to all that? What happens with their doctor's appointments? What happens if all of a sudden their legal guardians are gone? Because when they turned 18, we were threatened. You get legal guardianship or we will. That's just kind of how things work. The waiver kind of goes a little bit beyond um, what I consider nice. So we've got guardianship, good. But what happens if we're gone? What happens? So when we were adopting, um, the adoption agency made sure we had a contingency plan in place that if anything would happen to us, where would the girls go? Okay, so I've got two grown children, and I know that they would do everything in their power to make sure they were taken care of. But there's so much involved. It's not just about we're gone, somebody steps in our place. It goes beyond that because daily we are consumed and concerned about their daily uh, care, about who's taking care of them, and what kind of job are they doing with them. And we talk with doctors' offices, and there's the pharmacy, and there's the waivers. They're on two different waivers. There's case managers, and there's all these people that I deal with. And if I all of a sudden am gone, then what happens? And I I heard this conversation being had, and I thought, you know what? As much as I think I've got it together, I don't. And it's concerning. And I can't let it go. I just can't let it go. I've got to do I've got to do better. So um, I've got to go back and I've got to find all the paperwork that we filled out with. I guess we would just start with the last adoption and pull that out and look it over and see what kind of legalities there are there. And I've got to put things on paper. I've got to make things legal. There's so much I don't know about, like trust. And I know that, if anything happens to Ken and I know that, the life insurance money and and our possessions and all that, well, that's pretty simple. The girls aren't simple. And we've just committed our whole life to make sure they are good and safe and taken care of and everything. And I feel like I'm dropping the ball on this. I'm gonna have to do some research. So this will be my first video. And if you're still watching and you have any insights on this, like where do I start? Where do I go from here? If you want to comment down below and tell me, that would save some research if you have some wisdom on that. I do know that I need to talk with my big kids and talk seriously, because it's a huge responsibility, and I've taken it one bite at a time and one day at a time and one challenge at a time, and I've kind of grown in, this is the way you have to do things to get things accomplished, to get something like a wheelchair ordered, or or even more, um, and to put someone in that position without preparing them, I feel like it's unfair, and everything. The other side of this is, I've I've always said, I don't want to leave them behind. Like, and I know that's selfish, but I I really don't. And it's not that I don't trust my big kids to make sure that they are cared for. It's just, I just worry. I maybe maybe I'm too controlling. I've heard other parents say it. They don't want to leave their kids behind. They don't want to die before their kids. We all have our wants, but for the most part, we don't really have a whole lot of choice. Um, and so it's just a lot to think about. The responsibility, gosh, it just hurts my heart. I don't, I don't want to hurt the girls, and I don't want to hurt my big kids. I want everything to go, um, as planned. I want, I want their day to day secure, but I also want their future secure, and I need to figure out how to make that happen. Um, Not only for them, but for my big kids. I can't, I can't even imagine, and I really don't want to even imagine. Well, what happens if Ken and I are taken away today? Then that means somebody moves in, and is that fair? I'm sure they would do it, but it's just asking a lot. Like, it's asking a lot for somebody to step into my shoes and take over what I've been doing all these years. Um, but I've got to secure my girl's future. I know that when things like this happen, and all of a sudden the guardians are gone, then the court has to appoint guardians. But if I already have that on paper saying that, if anything happens to us, the girls would go to, and then their names, I hope that's enough, but I don't really know. Um, I know that all decisions made for the girls would be the best intentions, but I really want to be in control of that. I want to be in control of who takes care of them, and I got to figure that out. Um, it's just lots to think about, and I know it sounds morbid. I know that not a lot of people think of things like this, but and I usually don't think of it quite as intently as I have the last few days. But I can't drop it, and since I can't drop it, then we've just got to figure things out. Um, so I'm going to be doing some research, and to see, where do I start, what do I do, and like I said, if you're still watching this video and you have any ideas, or if you've already done this for your kids, uh, whether they're adult kids or not, if you'd just kind of give me some insight on which way to go with this, I would appreciate it. Um, this is part one of I don't know how many parts, because I've got quite a bit of things to do. So thank you for watching. And if you like this video, if you'll click the like button, also subscribe to my channel. This is another way that I want to provide for my family. And it's slow moving and it's fine because I really feel like I'm building a community base uh, here. Like those of you that are still watching, you're awesome. And you support me, you support my videos. I appreciate that. That's what I'm doing. I'm building that base. And and I want this to be part of taking care of my girls and taking care of my family in the future. So, anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll check out my other videos and have a great day. And we'll see you in part 2 of this video.